For this lesson, we're going to start looking at proportional and non-proportional relationships. And a proportional relationship is when two quantities have a same constant rate or ratio. And so if you look at our examples that we have listed, we have 3/1, which equals 6/2, which equals 12/14. And I know that those are a constant rate or a ratio because this 6/2 can simplify to 3/1. And 12/4 can simplify to 6/2, which simplifies to 3/1. A non-proportional relationship is when two quantities do not have a constant rate or ratio. So 4/1 does not equal 6/2. If I was to simplify 6/2, I would not get 4/1. And if I was to simplify 8/3, well, I wouldn't get 4/1. So those have different constant rate or ratios. Let's take a look at an example. Determine whether the cost of coffee is proportional to the number of pounds. Explain. So we have a chart here. We have coffee on top, and then we have our cost. And if we look at the very first rate we have that it simplifies to 1/3. So we need to make sure that each one of these sections in our chart will simplify to our 1/3. Well, does 2/6 simplify to 1/3? That's a yes. 3/9 simplifies to 1/3 because I can divide by 3 on the top and the bottom, and I'll get 1/3. And then if I'm going to check 4/12, I can divide by 4 on my numerator and denominator, and I can get 1/3. So since all of the sections in our chart simplify to 1/3, then the coffee is proportional. The cost of coffee to the pounds is proportional. And we can explain that by just how we worded it right here. Determine whether the number of miles is proportional to the number of hours, and we're going to explain that. So the first thing that I need to see is, well, my very first one says 1/50, so I need everything to simplify to 1/50, and I have 2/70 is my next one. And when I simplify 2/70 and I divide the top and the bottom by 2, I'm actually getting 1/35. So I'll show that out. And if I divide by 2, that equals 1/35. And that does not equal 1/50. So right off the bat, I know that 2/70 is not proportional to 1/50. So I can say that this relationship is a non-proportional. Go ahead and pause the video and try this one on your own. So we need to determine the number of legs are proportional to the number of spiders, and we need to explain that. So the first thing that I want to do is I'm going to write what our first rate is. So I need everything to simplify down to 1/8. Well, 2/16, if I divide by 2 on both sides, the top and the bottom, I'm going to get 1/8, so 2/16 works. 3/24, when we divide by 3, I will get 1/8. So that one works. And 4/32 simplifies to 1/8 as well, so that works. So we have a proportional relationship. Go ahead and pause the video and try this one on your own. Determine whether the number of ice cubes is proportional to the number of drinks. Explain. So my first thing that I have is that everything needs to simplify to 1/6. And I'm going to look at 2/14, and I can tell that 2/14 would actually simplify to 1/7. And since I already have one section that's non-proportional, I can go ahead and write non-proportional.